Hey guys, welcome back to the second part of our lecture. Um, so I know we covered this slide, but I just wanted, as a refresher, we are going over the core concepts of the RIE method. We finished this slide, so let's go ahead and move on to the second slide, or the next slide. So time for interrupted play and freedom to explore. So the first bullet point is give time. I know that it's easy as a caregiver, as a parent, as a teacher to get caught up in routines, or we're going to do this, this, and this today, and kind of entertaining them or bringing out new toys. But this is where observation comes into play, and just sitting back and being able to appreciate or admire the skills that the baby does have instead of trying to constantly bombard them with new skills. And just remembering that a child has to master a skill before they can learn a new one. So a child needs to crawl before they can walk. And I love this picture because this little guy looks so young, and he's able to do the rope climbing. He just has that look of concentration on his face. Okay, consistency. So establishing clear, defined limits and communicate our expectations to develop discipline. So really the communication aspect of it, like knowing what's expected so the child can anticipate what comes next or know if this is going to get them in trouble or not. And then continuity of care and primary caregiving. So at the Fairplex Child Development Center, we do practice both of those. Continuity of care basically means that you're with a group of children from infancy all the way till they age out of preschool, and you change classrooms with them. And then primary caregiving happens when a group of children come in. Teachers take turns kind of interacting and caring for them, but the child usually responds to one teacher more than the others and will start, wanting their care, crying for them and only them. And that's where this primary caregiving comes into play. Okay, that is the teacher's primary now, and that teacher is the one who almost exclusively feeds them, diapers them, and does those actions with them so that they could build that consistent bond where the child feels safe and is able to, in turn, explore their environment. Okay, so finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, I have a video clip, and this is Magda talking about her method and a little bit about child development.
Talk about this mobile infant, the toddler, the child between 6 and 15 to 18 months of age. How should that child be treated by a caregiver?
The number one thing wherever you keep a baby is to create one safe space. So their natural inborn desire to move should not be handicapped by the environment. So they have enough space, safe spaces, of course, obvious. First of all, when we talk about the infants, to go back to the first stage, who we call immobile, baby's never immobile, because even a newborn kicks around and can get from the middle of a bed, fall off. I believe that infants from day one are autonomous, or let's say competent for the age and stage they are at. At that point, they become more mobile every single day and see if that younger baby was allowed to move around, then they will do exactly the movements that they are ready for because they have the opportunity.
Let's take a child, again in this middle age range, 13, 14 months of age, 12 months of age, something like that. Using your philosophy of infant care, what are the discipline techniques that you recommend? How do you recommend the caregiver act when a child needs to be somehow limited?
First of all, I do like a child to know at very early ages house rules.
House rules.
House rules, whether the house is a family daycare or it's a center care or the family or whatever. This is what I expect in this environment. I find it easiest, we already talked about it, to have one place in which the child is allowed, in which it is okay to do anything they want to do. That's that famous, absolutely safe but challenging environment, where I don't have to say, don't touch this. Then you have that as a beginning. From this place you go out. Let's say in another room where there is a television set. There is something that you don't want the child to use. And then you are starting discipline. I mean, you start it really from the very beginning, in which you say, I like to say, I don't want you to touch the TV. Personally, I like to tell a child, I, and talk about me, not we don't do those things. To me, that's a little bit going around issue, because another person may not mind. See, I just like to communicate my message, and I communicate it very clearly and simply.
Okay, I'll stop it there. And there's some other great resources that talk about the RIE method and Magda Gerber. But I hope you guys enjoyed that clip. I like how she does discuss a little bit about discipline. I think it's a common misconception, as I mentioned, that discipline isn't regarded in the RIE method, but it is. And she talks about it, how it's about communication rather than punishment. I don't know. Okay, so the learning process. So the RIE method really emphasizes learning by doing and just the biological need to find out about the world around the child. And taking that information in with the senses to process information. And it uses senses to explore people, events, things, and their own environment. I like this this picture because I know a lot of parents or caregivers will take pictures of their baby with the spaghetti or the food all over themselves, and I think it's a great example of how the child is learning through their senses. And while we just disregard food and just eat it with our fork and focus on the taste of it, the child is exploring it through all their senses. They can hear the way the noodles are squishing. They can hear when they go like this with the food. They feel it on their skin. They're touching, they're hearing, they're tasting, they're experiencing it as a whole. And we have to go through that kind of experience before we can, get to the point where we're just like, oh, whatever, it's spaghetti. And I also wanted to share with you guys, I saw this, I think it was on a social media platform, but if you look around the room right now and think about licking something or tasting something, you can imagine how it will feel on your tongue. So I can see a blanket next to me. I can imagine how that would feel if I were to lick it. And I don't know what the biological reasoning or research behind this is, but it's true for almost everything that you see. You can imagine how it would taste or like how it would feel, the sensation. And I like to think it goes back to when you were a toddler or infant, you explored so much with your mouth. You still have that sense of what it would feel like. Okay, but anyway, moving on. The importance of observation. And we talked a little bit of observation, but it's a unique opportunity to observe and learn from our children and validate the learning process as they develop and grow. So going back to, having time for play, this is the time when the parent observes what is happening. Observation gives us new awareness of growth and how to help guide, support, and enjoy the child. So basically, what we are seeing during our observations, such as this picture, it looks as if the toddler is like tugging in a baby or doing that dramatic play. So what does he need next? Maybe it's baby doll circle time, and basically that's when a teacher kind of facilitates a group time where you dress the baby and diaper the baby, and through observation, like, oh, he's interested in the doll, we can kind of plan curriculum or new experiences based off of that. Respectful responding. So this goes back to the respect aspect, but how are we responding to the child? We're respecting them, but what happens when they tell us their needs? How are we going to respond to that? So allowing them the freedom to be their own unique selves. We know that all children have different temperaments and different energy levels, and allowing space for that. So for example, if a child is screaming inside of the classroom, we can say, okay, I don't like when you scream. Let's go outside, and maybe we can use our outside voice and get some energy outside. Providing and adapting as needed for their environment and experience to explore. And that's kind of just what I mentioned, being able to adapt and say, okay, I'm going to move this, or we're going to go outside because this isn't working right now for you. Acknowledging and allowing all feelings expressed. So if a child is sad and we don't really understand why they're mad or frustrated, being able to say, I see that you're sad. I'm sorry that you're sad. Maybe we can sit down and relax their body by reading books until we are able to feel happy again. Supporting the experience of trial and error. So I have a lot of kids who are learning how to walk right now, and if they fall, just, telling them it's okay, that's part of learning how to walk. And I think I fell a lot when I was learning how to walk, and sometimes I still fall, and it's okay. Next time it'll get, you'll master it. And then offering choices. So even at a young age, what teether do you want? Let them experience choices. Seeing the child as capable, and encouraging them to be able to wash their hands or do those things that will help with the transition later in life. And listening with all your senses to your child's communicational cues. So your child may not be crying, but maybe they're rubbing their eyes a lot, and you can tell that they're tired based off of those cues. Okay, quiz question. So what is the ultimate goal of the RIE method? Consider the outcome of all components that make up this theory. So I'll give you guys a little bit of time, but basically it's that authentic child, and making sure a child is confident, capable inside their environment by making it challenging yet safe. Okay. And then this is our last slide. I want to leave you guys with a quote by Magda Gerber. What parents teach is themselves as models of what is human, by their moods, their reactions, their facial expressions, and actions. There are the real things parents need to be aware of and how they affect their children. Allow them to know you, and it might become easier for them to learn about themselves. And this, I think, is just, again, connecting how we feel as adults, what we view as what we need, such as respect, and translating that to your own child. And then I included a link as well right here where you can get more information. It is the RIE website, and along with more information about the theory, it does have a little bit more information about Magda as well. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure. Have a good night.